Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here. So the Washington Commanders made a bunch of moves last night, re-signing a bunch of key guys and bringing another guy from the Chicago Bears, a defensive end. We'll talk about that in today's video. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button and that notification bell as well, so you never miss a video. Trying to hit 16K subscribers. It's free. It takes 1 second, less than 40% of y'all are subscribed. So still traveling, so recording on the phone. I know the audio has been a little bit of an issue. Hopefully it's fine, but let's get into it. So they signed Martin, defensive end from the Chicago Bears, 8th organization I believe he's been on, 3 sacks last year. Seems like a good depth piece, a guy that's going to fight to make the roster. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. Noah Igbenogany, who I wanted to re-sign. He got re-signed to a 1-year deal, and he's still young. Former first-round pick. I think he's like 25, 26 years old, maybe 27, but he's still young. I think I think it is a great signing for the Commanders. I just don't know how much money it is, which obviously can change my opinion on it, but I do like Noah Igbenogany. At the very minimum, if he's not starting, which probably he won't be, if you look at the lineup right now, at the very minimum, he adds much needed depth. The cornerback room is already better than last year. You bring in Lattimore, you're gonna have not St. Juice. You're gonna have Lattimore, you're gonna have Sainer still, and then you have Jonathan Jones. Whatever combination it could be, Lattimore obviously is going to be on the outside, but Jonathan Jones could also play on the outside and Sainer still play inside, or vice versa, where ideally Jones plays inside and Sanders still outside. And then you got Noah Igbenogany as the next man up. And for me, that's way better than what you had last year, where you had Benjamin St-Juste and Michael Davis. So not only do you already have upgrade at the starter position this year, at the cornerback position, and also Lattimore really didn't play last year. So let's see what he does this year. Could be a huge upgrade. But you bring in Jonathan Jones, who's going to help, and then Noah Igbenogany. So this depth is much better. If someone does get hurt, which, with cornerbacks, it happens. Marshawn Lattimore is a little bit injury prone. If it does happen, well, you have Noah Igbenogany, who played all game, I believe played all 17 games last year, and can step in and play pretty well. So for me, I really like that signing. I think it's great and just gives you a lot more depth on the defense, in the defensive backfield than you had last year. Other news, Nick Bellore, one of my guys, was really impressed by him last year on special teams. Every time, the special teams coverage unit was out there, you would see him, get close to making a tackle, or, getting there to make a tackle, especially on kick returns. I'm not completely sure on punt returns, but kick returns, he was always there. Good special teams player, good. Yeah, he's been with Izzo for a while now, in Seattle, and then now Washington, 2-year deal. Don't know the details of that deal or the Igbenogany deal. Talked about Marcus Mariota. The Commanders lost Olamide Zaccheaus. That sucks. He was a good player for the Commanders last year. Wasn't amazing, but was good and was probably the second best receiver on the squad last year, which isn't saying much, but probably, especially since Noah Brown missed a lot of the year, it's probably Zaccheaus, especially down the stretch. Did have some key drops, but also did make some big catches and had some big games, especially against the Eagles. That game, the second Eagles game, was huge. He had 2 touchdowns, over 100 yards, I think. He was very good for us in a few games. So will be missed, but, they did bring in Debo, and they re-signed Noah Brown to a 1-year deal worth up to 4.5, either up to 4 or 4.5 million. We'll see when the details of the contract come out, but I like that re-signing too. I think out of all the receivers they had on the squad last year, besides Terry, he was the best one. Was on pace for a decent amount of yards before, he got hurt. Was on pace for like 700, 800, I believe. And, caught the Hail Mary, which is clutch. Always will be remembered for that in DC, but, I think he's a solid receiver. The hands aren't the best. He does make some tough catches and then misses some, drops some that he shouldn't. But I do think he's a solid option for the Commanders. Out of all the receivers they had, I think he was the most important to bring back, just because of the, size and build he is. 6'2". Commanders don't really have that. at the receiver position. You know, Luke isn't that tall, Terry isn't that tall, and then what's it called? Yeah, the Debo is not that tall either. So bringing back Noah Brown is a good signing for sure. Like I said, they lost Zacchaeus, Nick Bellore back, Michael Walker's back, Marcus Mariota's back, Martin. I think it's Jacob Martin. Maybe I don't think it's Caleb Martin. I believe it's Jacob Martin. They signed him 1 year deal. A lot of defensive linemen. Eddie Goldman. They signed Javon Kinlaw. They signed Dietrich Wise, and then now Martin. So I think that's 4. I'm not even sure. Just woke up, but yeah, I think that's 4 guys that they've signed on the defensive line. Let me just count: Kinlaw, defensive tackle; Goldman, defensive tackle. Then you bring in Martin, Dietrich Wise. So that's 4. And yeah, that's a lot of guys bringing into the defensive line. Not sure if all of them will make it. Probably not. Wise and Kinlaw will very likely make the roster and will be contributors. But after that, Martin will be competing. Eddie's going to be competing too. So stuff to watch out for. I think the Commanders are making the right moves right now. Still would like another edge rusher, like a dog, I'm not saying Martin isn't a dog, but in terms of a stud and a guy that's going to get you 8, 10 plus sacks. If that means Dante Fowler, I don't know. For me, I'm still not really, wouldn't be excited about signing him, but it is what it is at this point. I'd rather go for Azeez Ojulari. But maybe Dante Fowler's market isn't as much as he thought, and he's willing to come back. But that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoy. Hit that like button. Peace.